It's like they're trying to be too meta.
You're gonna make them an offer they can't refuse.
Much better.
Yeah. You can buy you a drink. You can.
Well, I mean, he did pick out somebody we know.
Will you sidestep the question? That technology does not exist. Hey everybody, you're listening to A to Z, Episode 17. Today's guests are Aaron Davis and Joah Gerstenberg, owners of IRL Coworking.
Hey guys, I'm Zach. This is my co-host Aaron. Welcome to A to Z. If this is your first time listening, thanks for checking us out.
A to Z is produced sort of weekly, and show notes can be found at a2zpodcast.com. If you like what you hear, feel free to hit subscribe on iTunes, Google Play Music, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And you can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at A2ZBMT, where you can find updates, clips, and extra content. So this is part of a two-parter, I would say. Yeah, we're going to release these next two episodes out on the same day because there's kind of a central theme to them. You know, they're
It's like a tech week.
Kind of, yeah, tech, kind of startup
week.
Type stuff, you know. So since they were in line with each other, we just figured, why not? Let's do it.
Yeah, for sure. And these guys, Joah and Aaron, were pretty cool dudes. It was fun to have them on.
Oh, they were real cool guys, and they had I'm gonna have to mute my phone next time.
Yeah.
But they had a little bit to talk about a whole lot of things. The main thing we got into was IRL co-working space
and how they got their start too.
And how they got their start.
You shit.
I know I'm screwing up. But then also we found out that they hold a meeting about cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, we got into cryptocurrency.
Yeah, we talked about
for
cryptocurrencies.
Like the second half, I want to say.
And like the like all kinds of stuff's packed in this one.
So it was a good time having those guys on, and it was actually this is where we kind of made our connection to Texas Beard Co.
Yeah,
because Aaron is also a co-owner of that business as well.
Right, and he had such a good time that he decided he wanted to support us.
Yeah,
and we appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. So this is sponsored by Texas Beard Co. obviously. And if you like what you hear, be sure to like, subscribe, leave some reviews and comments because we want your feedback.
Absolutely, and they're on like Instagram and Facebook and everything too. If you're looking for a workspace,
yeah, you can go check them out. So this is our episode with Joah Gerstenberg and Aaron Davis of IRL Coworking.
What happened is I was on Facebook in my bed sleeping in, and I was looking through Facebook, and I saw an article on Cat 5, and I read it, and it was about y'all, and it was like a week old.
Mm-hmm.
And then I found out your names and Googled, or Facebook stalked y'all.
Yeah.
And sent a message.
The future is now.
I sent a message to you, but Facebook doesn't.
Oh, I get on Facebook every couple weeks, maybe.
Yeah. But then I think I messaged y'all on Instagram.
Wait, so how long ago did you message?
2 or 3 weeks.
Okay, so every 4 weeks.
It was like the same day.
Because I haven't seen it yet.
I got a hold of Joah. So.
I haven't gotten none.
But yeah, so I reached out and talked to him and sent the link out and got it all scheduled up, and here we are. So it's like that's it. You know, I knew that y'all the co-working thing was really interesting to me because it's kind of it's something I'd never heard of before, seen.
Yeah.
But but also the fact that y'all do cryptocurrency is another thing that we had an interest in. So
yeah.
Yeah, I did shout out. I was trying to find a financial expert, maybe somebody who dabbles in cryptocurrencies and stuff too. But that'd be a whole separate episode.
So anyone in crypto considers himself a financial expert. So look out for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I sure will.
They have a doctorate or a master's in
School of Hard Knocks of cryptocurrencies.
They have a BS.
Yeah.
In
there it is.
Cryptocurrency.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, y'all worked for. I guess we can start with that. It's like, what are y'all's backgrounds? How did y'all get into the space that y'all are in now?
I guess we just kind of stumbled into it. I went to Lamar and did Lamar stuff, and then graphic design. Then ended up getting hired by this exciting startup in Beaumont Technology.
The only startup in Beaumont.
The only startup. Yeah, AmeriCommerce, and worked there for a while. I was doing like some support stuff, designed some stuff, built some websites, and just kind of messed around and goofed off. And then we hired
Play Ping Pong.
Ping Pong. Yeah. Well, the arcade. Yeah, we built the first arcade. We kind of just, I say built. We computer TV screen,
Like a MAME setup.
frame. Yeah. So
Is that still up there? We should.
Yeah.
Still up there.
We should go steal it.
so technically, and this would kind of frustrate us. So technically, AmeriCommerce paid for the supplies, which were
right.
But the supplies were nothing. Like it took all this work to do it, but they still reaped the. I mean, that's capitalism for you, right?
Yeah. Well, they also were they paying you a salary while you were
No, not to
doing
build it.
Oh,
No,
not
we
to
just
build it?
no.
It wasn't on their time
No,
and
no.
dime.
I think it's broken though. So
Oh, well, just build another one.
So
Actually,
much
I actually
work.
have an idea.
I say me. There were other people building it, and I was the one there going, "Awesome, yeah! Can't wait till this is finished." Get that.
Good work, guys.
I've had
Yeah,
this idea
where'd
to
it
build
go?
this arcade for years and years, but I'm one lazy
Mm-hmm.
and I'm too lazy.
Mm.
So, but my idea is you can save so much room in these cabinets now because all you have to do is just put like a little,
Yeah,
just
Arduino,
little tiny,
right?
Yeah, or-
just put you put
yeah.
like a phone in there.
Put like a
Does all
phone
the
there,
work, yeah.
exactly. So what I really want to do is take one of these big cabinets and just put a kegerator in the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
build the MAME system, and then run the taps up behind the screen and have like a little cup holder.
Yeah,
and
they sell
and a tap.
the joystick type stuff, and for yeah.
We got to do that, Zach. We're gonna make that. I can
What,
make that
an arcade
happen.
machine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, that's a tangent, but
Yeah.
So,
So,
let's go back.
so we were there, and then we had this idea we were gonna hire or get like an intern, and how
That's
old,
where I
how old
came
were you? Yeah. How old were you?
So let me
13?
back up a little bit. I
Okay.
wasn't 13.
Yeah.
I was homeschooled, so I was allowed to learn whatever I wanted
it all
to.
makes sense now.
Yeah, no, yeah. I learned web development to impress a girl. Who's now my wife.
Really?
That's some Bill Gates stuff right there.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so I started dabbling in web development type stuff when I was like 13. I ended up getting connected through like Harbor Hospice with
Whoop,
I hit the mic.
it's all good.
I got connected with AmeriCommerce when I was 17. That's when I started the internship there. That was 3 months before AmeriCommerce was acquired by Capital One.
Then your parents. So AmeriCommerce didn't actually hire people that young. So
Yeah.
your parents had to like sign something like to make you were the youngest person at Capital One.
I was the youngest person at Capital One Corporate.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, yeah, then we were at Capital One together.
So yeah, we worked there. I wised up and left. Then a year later,
It was like 6 months later.
6 months later. So he was. I think you had started looking for another place. Wow.
I had started looking for another place because I didn't like that Capital One being such a large company. They had a bunch of rules and regulations where basically because they said so, I wasn't allowed to work from home whenever I wanted to, even though nothing about my job dictated that I had to be at my desk. So
Right.
I was
what
really
kind of work were you doing? Just
I was just web development. Like, I worked with Capital One because they acquired AmeriCommerce. I was doing like building out e-commerce stores, but on our platform. That's
Right.
that's a lot.
AmeriCommerce built like shopping carts
Right.
for websites.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's the most of the type of work I did. None of it required that I be there.
right. You're
And
doing
so-
it all online anyway.
Right. And so I wanted to just be able to work from home or work from a coffee shop
At least
when I wanted to
sometimes,
do that.
right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe not even all the time, just
Which is
have
funny
the
because while I
option.
was there, I got to do that. So
it was, yeah, but yeah.
We were the
Yeah.
freelancer, right?
well, so we were in different stacks. So I was technically in my design rec. I was I didn't have a manager in the state. So I reported to design director in California, so San Francisco. So I'd fly out there a good bit, but so no one really to tell me not to or anything
Yeah.
like that. And so we got stuff done, and I'd be in office 3 days a week, out of the office like 2 days a week.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Those big companies that are very old, they seem to be stuck in a bullpen type
You're right.
situation.
Yeah.
You know, they're-
Well, it was also that Capital One is a bank that's trying to act like a tech company. And so they brought all the regulations and the restrictions and stuff of the banking industry into
The tech side.
The
of it.
tech
Well,
side
it's like
and-
they probably have security in mind. Like they
Right.
don't wanna
Yeah,
have
yeah,
any
absolutely.
holes.
There's a reason for it, but that still doesn't mean it's the best idea.
Well, you're not gonna maintain good talent if you don't give them options. Especially
Yeah.
in this day and age, y'all obviously had better options.
Yeah, yeah.
So you were
have your
doing
own
that,
option.
and they weren't. they weren't fitting into your needs, so you ended up leaving.
Right. So yeah, I left about 6 months after Aaron. He had already been doing a bunch of freelance stuff, and whenever I left, we decided, hey, let's like join efforts. He does the design side, I do the development side. Our talents complement each other, so let's start doing stuff more together on the freelance side. At that point, we did a lot of work still for Capital One. We still do like e-commerce sites, but also internal work for Capital One.
We're AmeriCommerce now. So.
Yeah, AmeriCommerce now. But since then, we've kind of migrated away from that because it's not really, that type of work isn't really exciting. It's, I don't know.
Yeah.
I could imagine that would just be a grind.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not very fulfilling.
Yeah, a lot of others. So, like right now, have a retainer with a startup in San Francisco. So they're doing some really cool stuff. Like it's an app or service where you pay your rent and it contributes to your credit score. So you have a lot of people who are like renting, and it automates your So you can sign up. It drafts the check for you. It tells you when it's going to be sent. So it gets sent to your landlord.
Yeah.
And
it makes sense. You have to pay rent.
You have to pay rent.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
And so it facilitates you paying on time.
Yeah.
Of course, you can cancel it or force it not to be on time and, mess up your credit if you want. But it takes that burden off of you, and you pay your credit, and it reports it to the major credit bureaus. So it's actually growing pretty good. Like, I've been working with them where doing some, like, a lot of product design for their app and stuff. And then there's some little bits like, there'll be occasion like brand design stuff and, some, emails and like there's different things, but mostly kind of revolves around the core product. But it's really cool. It's fun.
You guys do a lot of things. I mean, it's that's
so that's just one of my clients. So they're my primary client right now. So I have, like, for example, like I'll have today, I had a standing call like on Monday and Fridays where we basically like, hey, this is what we're doing this week. And I interact with their developers and their kind of product owner or product, I don't know, I guess because he kind of runs, there's a couple of people. But anyway, so we interact and we, kind of see what is the most beneficial things we could be working on. Right now we were working on like onboarding, like when people sign up, to make that easier and better. And then, just it kind of grows, and it's a startup. So they, when I first started working with them at the end of last year, it was like, hey, we have enough runway for a certain amount of time. And past that, we'll probably get more funding, but it's like, you don't really know. So it's just kind of like...
Yeah, well, working for startups, you don't know if they're actually going to come to fruition.
Yeah, but it's a really cool idea. And it was and it's, I enjoy the problems that we solve for. So like things that we think about and like, how does this, affect the user? And then how does this help the user? Is a lot of really interesting things.
So y'all both left the same place around the same time. So what was happening? Like y'all got together and created kind of a firm for design and I guess development.
Right.
And so what led to this space?
So we kind of like talked about it a little bit. Like it was just something like this idea, but we would always kind of modify that with, but it would never work here, kind of thing. Like it would be great if it could work here, right. But like this thing isn't around here, so if it's no one would recognize it, it's weird.
Well, it is now, so
right. So we set out. So he was working from home in this cluttered, dirty room with stuff.
Hey, my room's fine.
Yeah,
scattered where everything
stacked
is.
everywhere. And I had at the time I had like this home office I had built. And we kind of talked about it. I can't remember there was a situation where we were thinking there was this space that we could possibly have access to for a very good price. And we were like, hey, like if we split that's really like, there's not a lot of risk in that. And we could test this idea. It could be a small one. And then we didn't end up being able to get that space, but we just kept going with the idea. And
if you split it more than that, you split it again.
Well, right. Yeah. But our thought was like, even if we don't get any clients, this amount of month from each of us, like this
just
split it's office space, and like we can have a place to work from that isn't our house. Like,
well, it's kind of funny that you left because they wouldn't let you work from home, and now you're starting a company, so you don't have to work.
So I've had to wrestle with that myself a lot because it was an issue. Whenever I tell people, I work remotely, they're like, oh yeah, so you can spend more time with your wife and your child more. And it's like, well, yeah, I can do that, and I really enjoy doing that, but there still has to be a barrier between like work and family life. And so what I wanted from Capital One was the ability to work from wherever I wanted. Not necessarily from home, not necessarily from the office. Like,
Right.
I didn't mind going into the office sometimes.
Right, because I mean, even working from home for too long would probably get kind of tiring. You know,
Yeah.
you want to you gotta get a different headspace. I guess.
Right. And so it was, I worked from home for about a year so after I left Capital One, I joined Coinergy, and I worked for them for about a year from home before we decided to start IRL. And that was whenever, I still work for them, I just shouldn't phrase it
that's
like
weird
that.
saying it that way.
But now we work from IRL most of the time.
Yeah, I still like I mean, I live in mid county, so I live in Nederland. So it's not like a big drive or anything, but it's there's some days where I'll just stay over in mid county, so I'll go to Starbucks and work from there or something. But yeah, it's funny because when we both used to work from home, it's raining outside. Yeah, you hear it. It's nice. So when we would both work from home, we would take like an hour and a half, 2-hour break to play Overwatch or something like that. We'd throw into it. We did be kind of like, you'd take a break and then you just start playing Overwatch and do that. So that was fun.
Well, stuff like that actually increases productivity.
Maybe not 2 hours of it.
No, well,
Maybe not 3.
I mean,
as long as you replace the 2
maybe
hours.
not all
with
day.
I mean, on that principle, you'd be so efficient if you did it for like 6 hours or 7 hours.
That would mean
diminishing
World of
returns.
Warcraft players
Yeah.
were curing
That
cancer.
last hour, you
There's
get so much
diminishing
done.
returns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is co-working thing? Is it something that you picked up? Did you see it in like San Francisco or something, or
Yeah,
where did you get
it's
the
kind
idea?
of so it's an existing model. Like in larger cities, Austin has a bunch. You have companies like what is it, WeWork?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that they have their model is that they have it in all these larger cities, and you're part of this network that you can if you go between these larger cities a lot, you have a place to work from, which is great. And people do that individually. We went to New Braunfels, and there's a co-working space there, and we kind of talked to the owner there, just talking about like
Business model.
how
they make money.
what's a good idea? Why do you do this? How does this work? Kind of stuff. And he was real open about it. Like we just sat there, he let us come hang out, and we talked about it, and
That
thought it
was
was
nice of him.
it really was. And
Well, it's a really smart thing to do. Because I've never even thought about it, but just sitting here casually thinking about it, it sounds really nice. You have these facilities, and anybody who wants to can come and take advantage of them, and then it makes the financial burden of a lot of equipment cheaper and easier.
yeah.
Well, you
Right.
can
So,
have
I mean,
higher
like,
speed
'cause-
access.
yeah.
It's a democratic workspace,
And,
basically.
and the other thing was like, so I pay for the fastest internet that I possibly can at my house. It's 120 megabits down. Like, it's fine, but you can only get so fast with residential internet.
Right.
But they have a lot higher speeds for business class. So
So it allows you to have business class without that burden. Of
Exactly.
paying for it.
So we were able to. We have the fastest internet available in Beaumont.
Yeah. So it actually makes it like a good gaming hub too.
Yeah.
Which we've
We've
done some
done
LAN parties.
You
And
did
stuff.
some LAN parties, really?
Yeah. Well, we did the first one we did. I brought my projector up and we hooked up some TVs so we could play some old Halo.
You
Did
don't
that.
really-
and-
you don't
original?
really need high speed
Yeah.
for this.
So-
Boy, have I got somebody y'all should know. Anyway, I'll tell y'all about later.
Yeah. And what'd y'all do? Y'all
We
did
did
like
Fortnite,
Fortnite. Yeah,
yeah.
last time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we'll do that, and it's great. It's fun. And so like even like so the benefit, like what it gives to our people who sign up is we have the fast internet, 24-hour access. You can just kind of go. We had.
You have a key.
Yeah, you have a key. We had what was his name? Ricky. Yeah, Ricky. He would, he was out. He used to live around here. Moved to Florida. Came back because his house got washed away. Not really washed away, but damaged.
Flooded.
Yeah, and he didn't really have a space while he was here to work on stuff, but he would be working on his house and stuff during the day. So he'd be up there like it was kind of our night out
1
for a while.
a.m.,
Yeah. So worked out for him. He was able to get away from just the close quarters of staying at his parents-in-law. Maybe I can't remember. It was something. And other people just come up there, work through the day. Some people, honestly, I mean, me personally, most days I come up around lunch. Some days I'm there the full day, but I'll come up around lunch and spend, that till the evening. And then it's there on weekends when people need it. And you have high-speed internet. We have monitor displays, so you can come in, just hook up to a second display, coffee, and some.
Yeah, our
stuff.
goal with it was to make it so that you just bring your laptop and then we provide
dock it.
everything
Provide
else.
everything
Yeah.
else.
so that it makes it like really easy to just work from somewhere else, and we give you everything you need. So
I mean, that's like maximum value as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, especially
that's
when
very enticing.
Yeah, you're thinking that like an office space to kind of get something similar to that, other than the kind of hectic loudness of like Starbucks or something, because we have like, a place you can meet your clients and stuff like that. But, it costs a lot more rather than just, running a desk or something.
Yeah.
Or just even if you only need it for like 2 days a week or something like that because you want to change things up or, we have plans for that too.
What kind of pricing plans do y'all have? Like, what does it cost to go and work in your space?
our full-time access is like 24/7 is $200 a month. 10 days a week or 10 days a month is $100 a month, and then we have a dedicated desk plan where you pick an available workspace, and that is your workspace, and we keep it reserved for you, and that's $300 a month.
Well, that's really affordable.
Yeah. Well, so one of the things I'm excited about, we're right on the cusp of kind of expanding.
When did y'all open? Just so I know.
December. Was the
Okay,
first
so
month.
it's only been three months.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
been that
So,
long.
so one of the things I'm excited about is when we do expand, which potentially in the next couple months.
So
or
the
something
response
like
has been good if you're already expanding.
Yeah, we hit. What did we?
And when you're expanding, are you talking about? Because I know the building.
So
that you're
the-
talking
the
about. So you're just
the
moving
space next
into
door.
the space next
So-
door.
That's what we'd
That's
like
a
to do.
Oh, you're
big
taking grandma's
space.
Yeah.
basement?
Yeah,
That's a big space.
We're
yeah.
gonna take that and
That's
start
a lot of
calling
room.
ourselves Grandma's Basement.
Yeah.
But I toyed with the idea because the sign's there, so it's a great sign.
I mean, it's
so-
pretty.
But
That's
Plus
that's
on
pretty
Google-
fitting too because people look at you and they'll be like, oh, y'all are
Oh, you work
nerds,
out of
but
your
y'all
grandma's
live in
basement,
your
huh?
grandma's basement. You're like,
Yeah.
I do
we
actually.
do.
if there wasn't already the baggage of the previous store, then we might have adopted
yeah.
that. But too much confusion.
So you're looking to expand into
Yeah.
that building?
So the space next to us, if all goes well, what that would allow, as well as like we feel like our offering right now, which is really good, but it's not full. Like right now, when we move over there, what we would be able to have is kind of like conference space as well. So,
More privacy.
Private offices.
private
yeah.
offices. It'd be more space. More.
So you'd have
more
like an
desks.
upcharge to have your own office.
Yep. But then also just any members would have accessibility to access to just a conference room that they can just have access to.
You get a
use.
massage therapist in there, man.
Yeah,
Get more room.
absolutely. That's part of the plan. Laser tag room. And,
It's funny though, because when Aaron first found the building that we're in, like the listing online, and the middle space, Grandma's Basement, was actually what he was like. Oh man, I really like this space.
It's a really big space.
It's a really
got
big.
a lot of rooms.
I really like the big front room in there. It's got really a lot
Put
of good
couches
natural lighting and big windows. But the space next to it, the smaller one that we ended up getting in, was a little bit easier just financially to be like, okay, let's test this out. Let's just
start
make
it,
make it an
So
experiment.
y'all are seeing that it's working.
yeah. So we hit. Was it last month? Was kind of.
I think we broke even last month.
Yeah.
Wow, that's quick. How
is
many
quick,
people? How many customers, clients do y'all have now?
About 9.
9.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's possible we'll have 2 more this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely one more. Possibly 2 more. And
It kind of lends itself to a lot of different things.
Yeah.
It doesn't just have to be independent workers or
No,
freelancers.
Right.
it's
Yeah.
so it kind of has initially started, and Cat 5 kind of covered it really
Yeah.
from one angle, which was creative entrepreneurial kind of thing, or like which there's a lot. Like so, we've got like I'm a designer, Joe's a developer. We've got another developer, another designer. There was another designer, a photographer, an accountant,
Yeah.
and then another accountant ish.
And then a guy who comes and plays Magic.
Really?
Yeah, that's all he does at the office.
Who?
JT.
Oh, he was the developer. Okay, yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah. No, but he does just play. We're actually gonna have. We were talking to JT about having a magic episode.
Yeah, there's
Him and
no
Wes,
better person to.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
No, it's funny. I don't know, man. It's just it seems like the way that we're all heading. It's getting kind of weird to me, and I'm kind of an alarmist when I think about the future and where we're all heading. But we are getting away from this sort of 20th century idea of
Yeah.
bullpens and the necessity for everybody to work together. And it's really easy to like lose the positives when you're thinking about the negative of that. But the positives are obviously it's good to work together. It's good to network. It's good to bounce ideas off each other. But the negatives are sort of like the restrictions of you have to be here 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So I think the model that you guys are doing is pretty awesome. And I don't know how. Well, obviously we live in Beaumont, so it seems like it'd be more popular.
That's what stuck. That's what's really stuck out is I'd never heard of the idea before. I really loved it, and I liked how it really kind of fostered what he said is that we're not a 9 to 5 culture anymore, and it kind of really. I wanted to know who y'all were or what y'all were doing. You know, it's a really. It's just the idea of the networking part too, like where if you're a programmer or whatever you do, there's probably somebody got to be working alongside of you that could help you with an issue.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like
we've done that. So like even JT, he's worked on a project that came through like to us in Everwoods, and I didn't have time for it or something like that. So he was there and able to take that on, and he's doing other stuff like that. There's been so that crossover is there.
It's almost like a sitting talent pool. If anybody wanted something done, they could just go to your location and say, "Hey."
Yeah, that's true. I mean, definitely, like it definitely kind of revolves around a certain grouping. But we have a marketing expert's going to be joining possibly this week. So he does a lot of like online, SEO stuff and marketing and website stuff, and so still kind of fits in a little bit of that same bucket. But we're not, we're kind of open to being, it's basically, for whoever would have a need for that space or something like that. And I kind of like one of the things I do like about that, like you were talking about, is kind of as we move forward into the future, it's more about like what value am I bringing to a company, and what are the things that are part of, they're tertiary, but they're part of normal, I guess, culture of, I got to be here. I've got to do these things that I don't really like, and they're not important, but they're just there, and you have to do it, and you got to dress this way and do this and stuff like that.
Those things end up making you resentful.
Yeah.
If you have a place that you want to go to work, that, I don't know, I think it would be a big improvement upon the work that you do.
Well, even imagine, like, Joe was talking about, like, if the response would have been different about, like, him just being able to work a little bit at home or just being given that freedom,
right?
He would, that would have changed everything.
I enjoyed Capital One. I like Capital One. It's a cool company. It just these sorts of issues, like the restrictions that they place. That was my only problem.
Right. It's. I mean, well, in this day and age, and with the options you have, it's ridiculous.
Right.
I mean, even that model is recent. Mm-hmm. The model of 9 to 5 and being in a cubicle is like it's something that came up in the 30s and 40s, and
so it used to be 7 to 8.
Yeah.
In the field.
Yeah.
So it doesn't fit into our modern day and age and how we operate as humans, or how it seems like a lot more people are instead of just dealing with it or are not working those jobs, they're saying just fuck that, we're gonna do our own.
Well, there's a lot. So I've talked to a lot of other companies that some design studios, some other technology companies, and most of them are kind of adopting that. Like, that would be the space I would say would more quickly adopt something that's new, that there's a value add, but there's whole companies.
You have the freedom to do that as well, and that sort of vein. But if you like Motiva, you have to show up at a certain time,
right?
And there's no way of getting around it, because if you don't show up and push the button, it's going to blow up. So,
dang, really?
Kind of.
Yeah. We're living right here, and that's
if everyone at Motiva didn't show up to work for like a week,
that kind of threat,
it would explode. So, but obviously that's completely different from what we're talking about. So, if you can, why not?
Right.
You can give yourself that freedom. And then we're all slowly becoming obsolete anyway. We might as well do things that we like.
Yeah. I think, that's kind of an interesting concept with like which jobs are gonna last the longest. Which
I'm not sure.
Maybe that's a good thing or a bad thing, because I don't know. Once robots are doing everything, you just sit back and hang out and do whatever you want.
Designing user interfaces and creating.
Yeah.
Is probably not going to get replaced anytime soon. I'm sure they could make a robot that could do it better than we can, but it's pretty far. It's a lot farther off than bus drivers and truck drivers. And
maybe not do it better than we can, but do it for free.
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
Yeah.
That's the scary thing.
Or at least a significantly lower cost
Yeah.
than what we ask. And
Yeah.
we're not going to bitch and moan about it either.
Yeah.
Or they won't bitch and moan.
But I mean, it is kind of interesting because I mean, between now and
You guys just have to program your own bot.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
That's,
Exactly.
work for you.
but even like between now and 30 years ago, there's been there's whole industries that have like gone that way. With the factory model, just different things like that, and it was kind of the same thing was said, but then rather than that, new industries opened up because that allowed us to do things even more. So I don't know who's to say it won't kind of continue going that way until there's a diminishing return on, or just like
Right.
yeah,
Well,
AI
the
and
proliferation of high speed internet and more tech jobs created the market that allowed y'all to start this company.
yeah, that's true.
And you're filling a need that exists. That I didn't even know existed in this town, but obviously does if you already have coming up on.
Yeah, you only opened up in December.
Yeah, that's pretty. I mean, that's pretty
Yeah.
good. 3 months to breaking even is pretty solid for a business, honestly, especially in Beaumont, especially a tech business or tech based business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what stuck out to me is like this is in Beaumont. Like,
Yeah, I want to say I'm really glad that you guys did just move to Austin.
Yeah.
Thank you for not moving to Austin.
that's
Well,
that's a recurring thought that we have on
Which
this
yeah.
show.
I mean, there'd be this whole new struggle of moving to Austin and trying to open up a co-working space when you're competing with all these other co-working spaces too.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah, I've found that to be one of the most positive things about Beaumont is that it is a wide open market for pretty much whatever you want to do. If you want to do something that's not done here, you just have to figure out how to make it happen.
like mac and cheese.
Like Mac, just like that. Yeah, there's no food trucks. It's not that I'm passionate about mac and cheese. It's
Oh,
just
no,
that,
don't say that.
you're
You're
I'm
destroying
not,
this
I'm
image I have.
destroying the
He's a
illusion.
cheesy dude, trust me.
I'm not like the guy, but I just knew that, hey, I think this would work. No one else is doing anything like this.
And it worked.
And I did the research and figured it out. And I think that's one thing that you guys did. There's nothing else around here like that. So might as well.
I mean, I think in that same vein, like the open market that is Beaumont, like the food delivery stuff. I mean, this is a tangent, but the food delivery stuff, there's a third company opening up now.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
The Goobers, like I think that's what they're called.
That's been around.
Has it been
Yeah,
around?
Goober?
Goober
Wait,
Goober started
what's the second
about the
company?
same time that the Waiter
Well,
started.
there's Waiter. There's
Fetch was the first one that
that,
I was
that
aware
place.
of.
That place disappeared though.
Yeah, Fetch
Yeah.
is gone.
Yeah,
Fetch,
we like.
Fetch
I
did
remember
everything. They go to the convenience store.
Yeah,
for you.
Fetch was like a personal concierge service, is what I
Yeah.
would have called that.
because they did their website and stuff through.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't do it.
built
It was through AmeriCommerce. You built it.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't think it's y'all's fault that it failed.
No. The whole time it was being built. So this
You
is
sitting
kind
there
of
thinking
funny.
it was a
No,
bad
so it was a fine idea. Like even like there was some. I would have modified some of their business model a little bit, but mostly it was like
It is a fine idea.
yeah, the technology side we were looking at. They went to the wrong people to design it. They were designing a website
So you had to
rather
fix-
than
you
an
had to
actual
fix
like
what they had.
yeah. It wasn't so like me at the time. I was like a UX designer. I was like, this is all wrong.
It's
But
garbage.
yeah, so it was, but before I ever saw it, it existed and was being built. And I don't think it was necessarily the people who designed it was at fault necessarily, but it was
They
just
didn't ask for the right thing.
they didn't ask for the right thing. And yeah, there was
Yeah,
a way.
functionality is key.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about the whole model's built on it being easy and
Convenient.
it's a service model. And so when you have a service model like that, that's difficult. It's non-existent. It goes out, but
Yeah. There is, and Goober is like an individual thing too. So that's like pretty much a guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not.
Was it a local?
Waiter is, so here's
Yeah,
the difference.
Waiter's out of Lake Charles.
Here's
so,
the difference.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
Waiter
different.
was a tech startup out of Lake Charles, and they expanded, and they got their stuff together. They're doing it really well. Goober and I mean
Goober.
I
Can't
have
get over
personal
that name.
experience, so I don't want to sound too negative, but it's just not nearly on the same level of professionality or anything.
what is it?
Interesting.
It's the same. It's just
the
food
same
delivery.
Yeah.
But the difference also is that Waiter is like in partnerships with
Right,
places.
right.
So I used to offer Waiter when I had a regular schedule.
Well, the whole idea of putting the iPad in the restaurant to get
Yeah.
orders is genius.
Yeah.
Waiter's model is just really good, and,
Yeah, they
and
really
like I said,
figured
they're
it
doing
out.
it right, and they do everything to fix any problems that the customer has or the restaurant. But they are their partners with these restaurants. You pay them, and they bring you business, and it's great. But with Goober, it's like it's not like a partnership. He just has a website listed with like 500 restaurants on it, and he has no like interaction with these restaurants. So if a guy came up, he was like, "Hey, I'm picking this up." The restaurant has no idea. So there's a lack of accountability there.
It
and all
seems
kinds
odd to
of
me,
stuff,
like how is so it's competing with a different model
That's completely set
that's
up way better than
set up to succeed.
Interesting.
And
I hadn't heard that about.
so is
Goobers.
it-
Sorry, Goobers.
No. That's just.
I
Is
don't
there
know, it
just some
just
guy?
doesn't
Is
make
it just
any
like?
sense.
I don't
it
ill
like-
wish you anything.
No, but
you
so
know.
yeah,
So like, there's
a lot
some
of-
guy
a lot of
named
people don't do
Eric
research.
Goober running this
but get
thing.
your
people
get
don't
shit
do
together though.
Yeah, but no, to go back to my point, like it's a wide open market, like
Yeah.
that you can do that in
Yeah.
Beaumont. Like I was just in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and there are 10 different food delivery services.
Absolutely, yeah.
And like to
There's
compete
Uber,
against them,
Uber
right.
Eats, and
exactly.
everything,
Yeah.
That's the beauty. That's what we're getting about. Like
Right.
Beaumont is beautiful for its potential. Mm-hmm. Because if you want to do something here, you'll be the first one. You guys are the first.
more than anything.
Like
You'll
I
make
want
a splash,
this idea
dude.
about like refining oil,
Yeah,
right?
refining
I
oil.
want to
Yeah.
take dirty crude
Yeah,
oil
this
from the ground,
messy.
and then we'll turn it into something that you can
Look,
use.
you can get plastics out of that.
Oh my gosh,
yeah,
can
yeah,
get-
yeah.
Yeah,
It's pretty
hilarious.
fresh, right?
Yeah.
gotta get an
I
investor.
like that. Do you are you taking investors right now?
We'll talk after this.
You guys, I think it's about time for a
take a-
mid episode break.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
Let's take a little break.
We'll talk about that idea.
A to Z Podcast is proudly sponsored by Texas Beard Company.
Texas Beard Company.
Yeah, the thing is we live in a very blue collar area here in Beaumont, Texas.
Yeah, speaking
and-
of work,
And speaking of work, yes, what this episode is all about. But if you're a hardworking guy like us, and you also have a beard, then you could probably stand to put something in that beard.
oh for sure, because I mean you're working out and you're sweating.
Yeah,
and
you're sweating.
stripping your beard of these natural oils.
You're in the sun all day
Yeah,
long.
you're
Like
getting
you got
dirty.
that
Yeah.
dust flying up.
Oh,
and
the
hitting
dust
you.
especially, yeah.
for sure. But if that's the case, then why don't you try some of Texas Beard Company's products? They have a lot of different products to offer you. They have oils, they have balms. Mm-hmm. You know what else they got?
brushes
Zach?
and combs.
Brushes and combs.
And everything that they have smells great. You'll be the best smelling guy on the plant.
Yeah,
I guarantee it.
me and Zach actually both fight over the nightcap.
Nightcap. Yeah,
That's
I
our
have it
favorite.
stashed in my
That's
room
our favorite
right now,
one.
Actually,
Give me some of that. But anyway, guys, we're gonna get back onto it. If you go to TexasBeardCompany.com and use the promo code A to Z Podcast in your checkout, you'll get 15% off your entire order.
15% off. You can't beat that deal.
Can't beat it. And if you like us and you want to support us, you can do so by supporting Texas Beard Company because they support us.
For sure. So let's get back to the episode.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain gang. That's the sound of the men working on the
They have
chain.
your computer, they put up a screen that says to get control of your computer again, you have to send this money to this address.
You can
In
put
this
it
amount
like
of
that.
time.
Yeah,
Classically, it's been like a PayPal address or something like that, but it's evolving more into like
Some like third party
Right.
untrackable thing, yeah.
exactly. And so you put this money in there, and then
Which is great for the Bitcoin, like cryptocurrencies. It's not
right, it's
yeah,
not traced.
we
It's
love
untraced.
ransomware.
Man.
But it is yeah, but even with that, like there's no guarantee they're going to give you your computer
Right,
back.
right,
So
yeah.
I mean,
It's an in faith thing.
Right.
That's crazy.
All right, guys. Well, we're back with Joah and Aaron with IRL Coworking, and we're just kind of getting rolling back into it. I guess we asked if y'all had any events or anything that y'all were doing inside the space, and you brought up the cryptocurrency meeting.
Right, so we have 2 meetups currently that we're doing at the space. We have Beaumont JS, which is a developer, like web developer, not specifically web
Is it
development.
JavaScript,
but
JS?
It is, yeah, it's
Yeah, it's
.js
basically
meaning
if you
JavaScript.
make stuff on the web kind of thing.
Yeah,
it
we
revolves
want-
around code, but like I'm a
Like web
designer.
development.
Like stick fighter videos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, what
happened to those?
exclusively.
We started with specifically web development, but then as we wanted to get more people involved, we've expanded and expanded. So,
Yeah.
attendance varies, but we enjoy it. We do that every month. And then we also have Beaumont Crypto, which is the cryptocurrency meetup that we do. And the response thus far has been really good. We started that in January, and so we've had 2 meetups, and we have the 3rd one scheduled.
Yeah, so people show up, just talk about like altcoins they're buying and investment strategies, or just people complaining about buying at the wrong time and selling at the wrong time, or just holding.
That
and stuff like
basically came out of where I joined Coinigy right after I left Capital One. So this was 2016.
What's Coinigy? What is that?
Coinigy is the company that I work for. It is a company that what we do is we help facilitate exchanging between different cryptocurrencies. So say like there are thousands of different cryptocurrencies. I want to move from Bitcoin to Ethereum or something like that to try to make money or do something else just because I want to hold this other coin or whatever.
Well, because each coin, that coin might be appreciating, this coin
Right.
might be depreciating, so
Exactly.
you leap over. Yeah.
So Coinigy helps to facilitate that process. And so I joined Coinigy like 2016. Cryptocurrency was not, like Bitcoin was at $700 then. It wasn't a very popular thing.
Yeah.
And I told everybody like, I'm joining this, and I was really excited about it, and everybody was like, okay, we'll see you in 6 months. You'll be doing something else then. And
Well, that's not very supportive.
right.
Yeah.
But then, like, 2017, cryptocurrency took off really big.
Yeah.
And so I was still just doing the same thing. And then people started going, wait, Joah does this. I should go talk to him about this. And so I had a lot of people coming up to me going, hey, don't you work in cryptocurrency? Like, it's a big thing right now. And I was like, yeah, I can talk to you about it. And so it became this thing where a lot of people wanted to talk to me about it, and I enjoy talking about it, so I just decided, okay, we're going to start a meetup. Since we have IRL in place now, we're going to have a space to do that in, and with IRL, we want to host more meetups and do more cool stuff like that, so Wellmark Crypto has just been an opportunity to bring everybody in one place to talk about that. Coinigy, the company I work for, does sponsor it. We've been doing giveaways. We did one in January. We're doing another one this month.
How do you give away wallets or something like that?
We're giving away. So
I've seen those little wallets. So it's like a
Right.
little hard drive or something.
So what it is a hardware wallet it follows the same fundamental concept of other wallets. So a wallet is it is an address that you keep your funds at. The only way to create a transaction from that address is using your private key. And so your private key is a really long, complicated string or characters, whatever, long line of text that you keep privately on your phone or on your laptop or whatever.
Essentially like a password.
Right. A really long
password.
How many characters is a password?
The private keys are like 256 characters. That sort of. And so what a
you
hardware wallet
memorize
does, right? You don't memorize it. You don't have to. A hardware wallet allows you to have your funds on a physical hard. It looks like a flash drive.
Yeah.
But the way that it is more secure is the private key, the really long password, is built into the hardware itself, and it is impossible to get it off of that. And so transactions can only be created from that address by having access to this thing and having the password to get into it to begin with. And so it creates a more...
it's more secure.
Right, a higher level of security.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
That's kind of exciting to me. I would like to go to one of these things too, because cryptocurrency by nature is a very confusing thing because it's so new.
I don't really understand.
So different. I don't really understand either. I watched a couple of documentaries on it. It's still like
thousands of different currencies. How are these? How are they used?
I invested $1,000 in Dogecoin. You guys, I don't know.
Oh yeah,
you still got it?
Yeah, I got that Dogecoin, bro. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, Dogecoin was doing really well last year.
Good, yeah.
Like it tripled in value.
Yeah.
So
I just don't get. I mean, is it just like the stock market? Like these they don't have any like real intrinsic value. They're just numbers on a screen.
Well, it's a fiat currency, just like anything else, right? It doesn't have.
So
I mean, the dollar bill is a fiat currency.
Dollar bill is a fiat currency.
Yeah.
Dollar bill's
backed
unique
by-
is that
It's backed by the U.S. government.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that
No, it's backed
the
up by
United
faith.
States. Yeah. Well,
It's
the one
backed
thing
by
is that
faith.
the United
Yeah.
States will take that as currency for debts owed to the
Right.
government. So basically paying taxes and stuff like that. So with that as a basis, you can build outwards to why it's like. So its value, as it's determined, there's so many different like variables that control that. Most of them outside of your control or even knowledge. So you have different banks that modify it. The government just decides to print more and stuff like that. So you have no actual
A lot of it's
control.
very speculative.
Yeah, speculative and everything like that.
Opaque.
But so there is.
But the value of the dollar bill is that it is accepted.
Yeah, that's accepted.
That's.
I mean, there are small modifiers as to that. But in the same way that crypto is a slightly, like, it has its own intrinsic value as well. So one of the things that creates value is, it's accepted, but, imagine that you can, in seconds or, very small amount of time, send value to another individual without going through a third party. Because right now, anytime you transact value to, you go through a bank, you go through PayPal, you go through credit card, you go through, and basically your bank, if you want to send money to China, your bank talks to another bank there. It takes a while. I
have this many units.
Yep.
I'm sending you this many units.
And the bank assesses the risk of this transaction. You pay extra for it. And it, so even very, very trustworthy banks from different governments and they still do risk assessment and all of that. So with cryptocurrency, I can just send instantaneously value to another individual. User to user. I don't need another person or another entity. I can control what is inherently mine. So even more on top of that, which this is, a lot of libertarian kind of anarchists love this aspect of it too. But for one
privacy,
thing, one thing is also that the government, more than that, it's less in the United States, but often, say the IRS suspects or anything like that, they can freeze your accounts and you don't have the money or access to it.
Right.
And there's a lot of cases, especially with tax law, that you have to prove that you did not or something, rather than. And in other countries where there's a lot of value is that, you back the wrong political candidate and they're going to freeze your assets or they're going to take or that. And imagine you can just leave or flee or not have any of that or have full control over it because there's not a third party that takes on that risk. The risk is taken on by the mathematical computations of the system in place. So it has an intrinsic value as far as what the blockchain did for peer-to-peer transactions.
A lot of people, what does that mean? What is the blockchain? This is like the spine of the currency, right?
Yeah. So it's kind of like a ledger system that you can find a way to completely trust every person involved in that ledger system. So imagine that I want to give you money or for a transaction and different money that's passing hands. There's a lot of things that could, especially digitally, is are you being accurate in what you're giving? Are you communicating with the ledger?
Even a book, somebody else can write in it.
So imagine that there's a way to, with mathematical, dealing with high levels of certainty and kind of safety, and to know what the amount involved each individual has and that they trade, and at the end of a known time period that is accurately tracking that, and it is absolutely secure. And so the blockchain facilitates that. That's the main thing that it facilitates, and the way that it does that.
So nobody can mess up the works.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you think of my money, there's safety in a bank. It's sitting there. They keep up with it when I want to send it somewhere else. You don't have exact dollar bills that are going to go from one bank to another.
Yeah, but we've also had moments where the bank wouldn't let you withdraw something or wouldn't let you make a transaction.
There's been absolute times like that. Plus, you pay for the privilege as well, with and different things. And, the banks kind of run things now. So, that's involved. But, with the blockchain, there's a whole, the whole concept is, you can go in depth on it, how it does that, the link to the blockchain, how there's so many people, that's what mining is. When people are, individuals mine, they're basically facilitating that system going.
They're processing transactions.
You're processing transactions.
So whenever you mine, that's processing transactions.
So you're processing transactions, and that's where the reward comes from, is that you pay a small amount of transactions. When you transact, you pay a small percentage.
Just like in PayPal, if I gave you money in PayPal,
kind of PayPal depend. Well, it depends.
It's like $1 for 100. So it could be 1% to 3%.
So they get a cut for processing these transactions.
Kind of.
Yeah. So basically,
I think it's more like micro.
Yeah.
It's not a whole. It's
really,
not one
really
coin.
micro,
It's like .000.
Well, it depends. So some of the different coins cost different. So Bitcoin, it has a set block size. So it will only it will only pass a certain amount of information. So at the end of last year, you had so many people trading Bitcoin because it was so valuable. Transactions started costing, if I wanted to move just $2 worth of Bitcoin or 200 or 2,000, it would cost me $40.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So imagine I'm going to send this person $2 and it cost me $40 to send those $2. And you're like, that's insane. Well, the reason that happened was because so many people, which there's things they're doing now that's fixing that. And that's where Bitcoin Cash came out. So there's some that same transaction is 2 cents or something like that. So that's the general. Most cryptocurrencies work that way, and even Bitcoin's only going like. It doesn't cost that much now, and there's Lightning Network that's fixing that. So there's all of this other stuff.
I read an article that said that Bitcoin mining is affecting the PC gaming industry because everybody's buying those GTX.
Because
they're really good for it.
Well, right. So graphics cards, the thing that they specialize in is really complex math. In cryptocurrency, like it's all based on cryptography, like the dealing of like really complex numbers and creating this super secure like system through that math. And so graphics cards are like a couple of years ago, well, 2017, so not a couple of years ago, last year, there was like reports of like people in New Zealand and stuff and Iceland filling up an entire like commercial airliner and shipping across the ocean filled with graphics cards just to mine Bitcoin and stuff. Like that is what is used most of the time.
Yeah. So you're telling me I can't just hook up my TI-85 calculator to the internet? That's really good at processing.
You can do so. I mean, you can do like cloud mining. There's places where you can actually buy into. They have
you get into a network
existing, and you can basically you can compute.
So it's luck of the draw, basically, right?
Kind of. So and I think some of the coins actually have different controls over kind of the mining reward and stuff. But like say Bitcoin. So we, let's say you pay into a mining pool, say Bitcoin.com, and it's a pretty big one. And so they have they generate, like they're actually one of the larger reward, like they get a lot of rewards but they also have it because there's a lot of people on it. And so they distribute those rewards there and, because they're computing so much. But you can figure up, I'm not sure, it depends on different coins, but you can kind of figure up like this amount of processing power will yield this average of daily reward. And you can,
absolutely.
So you can do that. So, and that's where like, you can have. I mean, you can buy. Like,
hopefully, the money that you're like air quotes. Hopefully, the money or the value that you're earning, processing that is more valuable than the energy bill.
So it is. Taking. Yeah, generally it is right now. There were times like
because otherwise you're just spending dollars to get crypto.
There was a middle kind of a zone when Bitcoin wasn't quite valuable enough. Like it was growing, but it had, the blockchain was kind of long enough to where the rewards were diminishing some. Like it's harder. Like no matter what, for the next, 90 years or whatever.
Bitcoin is set up in such a way that it will only ever process one block every 10 minutes. Okay. And so anytime that it starts averaging below 10 minutes, it'll actually make itself more difficult to find the next block.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow, it's
organic. A really interesting technology so that it forces it to be every 10 minutes, on average at least, for the next 100 years. And so every 4 years, the block reward halves. Yeah. So at the beginning, it was 50 Bitcoin, then it halved 25. Right now, it's 12.5, and then in a little bit, it'll...
So it's kind of like that version of inflation, sort of.
Right.
Has there been any stories of IRS seizures of assets of Bitcoin or anything like that yet?
So remember what was the
Silk Road was
Silk Road
big
one.
Right. So because that's what they used for.
I mean, that's how cryptocurrency started off, though, right?
I mean, it did.
People trying to find a place where they could pay for black market goods.
Yeah, it's definitely
like
evolved past that. Yeah, like people, like other people.
How much for that human? Oh, yeah, that's 30. That's 30 Bitcoins, bro.
I mean, I'm not saying
you're joking, but
I'm not saying that Bitcoin was created to buy people, but it was probably used. It was definitely used to buy people.
Yeah.
At one time.
I mean, full disclosure.
So are dollar bills, though.
Yeah. Like dollar bills.
Yeah.
Those are used to buy people all the time.
All kinds
There's actually more slaves in the world right now than there ever has been.
Really?
There's more slaves right now in the world than there was in
during slavery times. During like the slave trade times.
I mean,
really?
Yeah, it's because the population is such.
You mean like when someone's a slave to their job?
Oh,
hey, that's where we started this whole thing.
Almost. Is that what you mean?
No, I mean like legitimate, like.
Oh, okay.
So they pay me money to enslave myself.
Forcing people to have sex for monies is what I'm talking about. Anyway, that's really dark, but
it is.
We'll go back, but that is kind of an interesting genesis of the cryptocurrencies, isn't it? The Silk Road,
Yeah. Okay, so Yeah, there was how many? There was like a lot.
There's Silk Road 2.0.
So the way that they actually, so like you kind of think about that, like, well, how did they get his Bitcoin whenever it's supposed to be that secure?
Yeah.
And they described it. Basically, I think they were like kind of trailing him, and they waited for him to have logged in. So they were watching his. I think he was doing it from like a library or something.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Oh, like some public IP.
Yeah. This may be. I'm pretty sure this is kind of right, but. Yeah, sounds good either way.
It sounds like a Cloak and Dagger type
There
movie.
he was at the library and during children's story time, and yeah, so and I think they just grabbed him while he was still logged into his stuff, and so that's
that makes sense.
Yeah, so if you're that wanted by
that's
kind of
that seems highly illegal for them to do.
Well,
that. I know he was doing illegal things.
And that's physical too. That's not
even
that's
saying
like
that, I think that's
showing up.
Like that's a little. I mean, yes, but there's a lot of people who argue. So imagine what he did, which I don't have like a. I'm not saying it was good. He just facilitated this site, so he didn't necessarily.
Right.
He didn't necessarily
do
anything. Yeah.
He wasn't buying or selling anything.
He just made it able for people to buy things.
I think
transactions.
So I think for
which
that,
every bank in America is facilitating the drug trade.
Is this another buying people comment?
HSBC got in trouble 4 years ago for completely facilitating the entirety of the Mexican cartels. HBSC.
Well, I mean, someone's got to do
it.
Yeah,
but
right?
they won't take debit card transactions for marijuana dispensaries. So.
No, they
now
won't.
they do.
No, they won't. But if you fill up your entire vehicle with cash and drive it across the border to Mexico, you can go and deposit it in a HSBC bank.
It's like, hey, I got this van.
No questions asked.
Full of cash.
No questions asked.
Nope. They got in trouble and they didn't even. I mean, they got a slap on the wrist. They got a congressional. They had like a congressional hearing about it and everything. They had the U.S. president of.
Don't
HSBC.
do it again.
They're like, do you have anything to say? They're like, well, we're gonna get better. We understand that this is happening, so we'll try to do better. And that was it. There was no punishments, no nothing.
We hear you loud and clear.
So
do you think the crash, the market crash, is what kind of kicked off this whole thing?
I mean, that is where it came from.
I think,
yeah.
Is that even?
Like these people you can't trust the banks because even they're fucking up. Like,
does it mention that in the white paper for?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it did. I can't.
Well, because this is it's based off of a code that can't really be corrupted.
Right. Well, yeah, and
a code has no moral grounds. It has no. It's completely ambiguous as to any of its methods or anything like that. So you can't really.
What if I write a code that kills people, and that's the intent, though?
Then you're killing people.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
That's that ethics trial, right? With the lever and the train.
People kill people.
Oh, okay.
You know, like there's 4 people on the track. You pull the lever, it'll go and kill one person.
That's the trolley problem.
The other side is you can push a fat man and kill that one person. So it's either kill him by hand or kill him with a lever. The killing by lever is more ethical.
That version seems like unnecessarily obtuse.
It is. It's just it's just an ethical quandary.
No, I mean like the trolley one makes sense, but they're like,
that's right. The trolley problem.
This fat person, you just push him.
Why does he have to be fat?
You said fat person.
No, that's what he's usually
that's
brought
what I'm
up.
saying. I was like, why can't you just be a person?
They usually describe him as like a miserable bastard in some kind of way.
They do. Yeah.
Okay, so you feel less sympathy. That's
well, it's more about
value.
It's more about like pulling a lever and killing somebody, other than putting your own hands on them and actually doing the act. Is the disconnection? Yeah.
But
A to Z podcast. We talk about everything.
We talk about everything. So we'll go back to it. That's interesting. I didn't really connect those dots. So cryptocurrency kind of got its inception after the world recession.
Yeah, because you can't trust the banks to fucking manage his money, right? You can't trust the government.
That was a 2008 was a complete and utter domino effect, and it started in Iceland and then just went all over the world. It was
same as the Great Depression.
It was a valuation problem where these banks were valuing this thing AAA and everything, and all of a sudden we found out that everything's been shitty. Nobody's been paying the bills, and the whole world crashed.
Yep.
Yeah.
So might as well get this weird cryptocurrency thing where there's no way to lie about it.
Right.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. But then you do have the problem of like there are manipulations of like prices, sort of. Kind of, I don't know. That's kind of a soft.
Well, there's an overvaluation.
Well, like for example, right? So if you have events where people will, what do they call, like pump and dump? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you basically,
it's the same as the stock market.
Yeah, same exact thing as a stock market.
But yeah, the one thing is like you can send out like mass groups of being on the same network and notifications, like, okay, this is what we're
Hey,
going
let's
to do.
buy, sell,
Buy,
sell.
Yeah. So it basically follows a lot of...
Which that can't be done if more people are using it.
That's where...
Makes it tougher.
Yeah.
Well, it makes a smaller dent on the market.
Right.
It would
So,
be
yeah,
almost
it could be done,
inconsequential.
but it would be inconsequential. Yeah.
Or either you'd have to...
Did Bitcoin just kind of like not crash, but did it just dip big time? Because I noticed
does that at
6
the
months
beginning.
ago it started to like ramp way
It
up.
peaked
And
at like
everybody
12,000 or something
Everybody
like
was
that,
talking
right?
about it.
September 19,000.
September it got really. It started. Going
Where's
up
my
really
wallet,
crazy.
Aaron? Go look it up. I need it.
I was just sitting around and thinking about this, and I'm not obviously not a crypto expert, but I saw the amount of energy that everyone was like talking about it, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, I gotta buy some Bitcoin." It is tripling in value.
That's how you start a crash.
And
is
I
you
was
get
like,
everybody
man,
hyped.
y'all are fucking this thing up.
Well, so
I was
a
like,
lot
this is not sustainable.
Yeah, so a lot of, like, if you're kind of keen with it, there's a lot of people that will generally, they expect the correction at the beginning of the year or very late into the year. So you have a lot of people who just kind of were waiting for it. You want to find that, like, a lot of the times, even in your kind of day-to-day trading, it's about finding the top and finding the bottom and stuff. So, I had a friend, someone I knew, like, went into, at the beginning of the year, went in at like 20K and came out, like, I think he made 70K in the year. Because he got out before that happened and he knew what to watch for and he's waiting.
That's a pretty amazing return.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a house.
Yeah, that's what is that, like 252%, something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
That's a way to go.
But yeah, not that I'm advocating anyone invest
get
more
out.
than they
Yeah,
can.
don't get
Yeah,
out.
you have to be ready to lose that. Or
So since
You probably have to have an understanding of it
Yeah.
just before you
since
start
it's-
throwing money at it.
Since it is such an obscure thing, and it is kind of confusing because there are, like you said, 1,000 different cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
And the nature of it is just kind of confusing because it's so new. If somebody actually wanted to, let's say, start dabbling or maybe like, broaden their portfolio and buy some of these cryptocurrencies, is there something that you would tell them? Is there a certain cryptocurrency you favor over the other?
Yeah, are there any trash
Or
cryptocurrencies?
should you kind of diversify it where you don't just buy Bitcoin, you buy a few?
Let me preface this just real quick. So
we are experts. Listen to everything.
we are not experts. We are not going to offer trading advice or
Gospel.
investment advice.
I think I actually listed y'all as cryptocurrency experts at one point. So
We'll have to change that.
Well, I mean,
Thank you guys for admitting that.
maybe
Okay,
in the Beaumont area.
As a cryptocurrency enthusiast,
right, exactly.
what would you say?
So literally anyone can create a new cryptocurrency. How it works is Bitcoin's code base is public. You can go today and go and copy that and create a new coin, and that coin won't hold any value because it doesn't have any history of holding value, and it doesn't have public buy-in and these sorts of things that are
so it's like a
required.
hype thing.
Well, somewhat.
You get enough
but-
people behind it, it creates an own
Usually
value.
they're kind of tied to,
That's
they're like a
value.
project.
That's value.
Right.
So like...
You're buying into the technology behind the thing.
Yeah.
the idea of the
Well,
thing.
so you have different crypto. So you have like, say, like Ethereum with its smart contracts and stuff like that. So Ethereum is, so you have the security of kind of this whole payment system and ledger system, but inside of it is a way to pass other information into that same security. So you can build apps that interact with this payment system, and the app itself runs in the same security system. So you can do like smart contracts and stuff like that. So you can tie in other events that could carry the same security with it. So that fires off, and
So the currency has like metadata with
sort of like
contracts
it
and
just
stuff?
allows. Yeah, it allows more than just. So like with Bitcoin, just on the only thing that's passing into these blockchains is
It's the amount of coin.
Yeah, this was traded
One
here, this
coin,
was coined
0.5,
here, point
right,
yeah,
traded.
and that's so. But with Ethereum, imagine that you're passing in more information, or you can pass in. So you have these different. You can build whole different systems.
It's like the little spot on the check where it says for or memo.
Kind of.
Yeah, so
and
you're making
it's a little bit like that.
This
but
is
you
for
can
Dan to make this app.
And you have people building, like there's people talking about a decentralized like web using this technology. There's people talking about like, doing whole operation, like operating systems and stuff kind of built on a lot of it's a whole nother thing. So like Ethereum itself, and it actually has for a while it was a little bit more stable than while everything else was kind of burning a little bit more. But that technology, that idea is valuable.
That seems like it would be intrinsically more stable.
You also have something like, so remember I had mentioned the problem with like Bitcoin, that there were a lot of high transaction fees. It would take a little bit slower because there was only a certain number. So it was, they started Bitcoin Cash. So there's a group that branched it off, like how Joah said.
It's like an ATM kind of thing.
I think Bitcoin opened up a storefront
like
too on Wall Street.
Bitcoin Cash. So Bitcoin Cash, the difference between Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin is near the end of last year, you were seeing, so each block of transactions that you have, so say, this is not the number, but say Bitcoin can only process 1,000 transactions every 10 minutes. Because like I said before, it's forced to be every 10 minutes. So say it can only process 1,000 transactions every 10 minutes. Well, I want to send you this money right now. I don't want to wait. I want to get it. I want to wait in the next. I want to be in the next block, though. I mean, it might be 10 minutes, but I want to get it done as fast as possible. So I need to offer to pay Aaron, who's the one that's actually going to be processing this block.
I'm over here mining.
If me and you I want to send you money, but Zach also wants to send you money, then I have to offer to pay Aaron more money than
so it's like you bid for the right to transact at that
his
moment.
equipment's
Bidding
facilitating the transaction.
Exactly.
Right.
So that's what led to Bitcoin doing that. So Bitcoin Cash with that branch was...
Bitcoin Cash allows larger blocks. And so basically at no point will you have to pay larger and larger amounts. Because like Bitcoin, at the end of last year, it was like $30 for any transaction. I want to send you $5. I have to pay a $30 transaction.
Right. There's just no point for small transactions.
Yeah. And so it became more of like a commodity. Like that's okay whenever you're transacting tens of thousands of dollars at one time. But if I just want to send $5, then it's a much different thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Where Bitcoin Cash, the intention was to be fast and efficient and
it was meant
larger
to
block
work
sizes.
like a currency.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of advocates who, on a philosophical level, believe in Bitcoin Cash, that it is some people call it the true Bitcoin, because Bitcoin was meant to be this in the white paper. It was kind of like, it was, digital cash. Like this is what it's supposed to be. Low transaction, supposed to be quick. So it facilitates anyone needing to do that. That's what it's meant to be. So Bitcoin Cash does that. And it's gotten a lot of, good adoption. It's one of it's the top 3, 4.
Do you see a point in any near future where, is there going to be a time whenever one cryptocurrency becomes dominant, and also is it going to be a thing where it'd be common where you can use it like at the store?
Yeah. So
is that coming?
So as it's talked about, like the whole blockchain technology is kind of like a Pandora's box. Like it's open, it's done, and there's absolute intrinsic value, and you can't undo that. Like it's
so
a known thing.
No governments are going to
you
block
can't.
this thing.
Yeah.
Basically, it's here to stay.
It's here to stay.
The idea is already out there in the ether.
And
so
what's even more is like there's kind of circular ways of control, but there's no real way to control it. Like you can't,
countries like India's getting rid of paper money.
Yep.
To stop slave trade and drug trade.
I think Venezuela's moving to, they have their own crypto.
Yeah, but Venezuela's all fucked up.
Well, I think that's the reason they're backing it by their petroleum. I think it's the petro or something.
The petrodollar, yeah.
Something like that. I don't know.
The petro Bitcoin.
Really?
It is.
Petrocoin? It's a crypto.
It's backed by oil. It's really weird and interesting.
I don't know why I would trust
oil companies over
Venezuelan oil companies.
At the end of the day, when we're talking about cryptocurrencies, or we're talking about fiat currencies, or even we're talking about commodity units like gold or silver or palladium or anything like that. It all, at the end of the day, its value is based on
palladium, like the club downtown.
Yes,
value is always based on what it can buy. Right? Or like who's willing to pay for certain things. So they're all essentially the same, and it's almost like, what will you accept for an hour of your time?
Yeah,
and that's what a currency
it's trading.
Is. It is trading. So
we accept Bitcoin Cash at IRL. So
really?
We do.
Yeah. How much is a month of membership for Bitcoin?
So this is a problem in my opinion, but what we do
is 0.02 of a Bitcoin.
No,
is that a limitation of the Bitcoin?
The system that we use, right so we charge $200 a month. It'll go ahead and figure out like how much is $200 a month right now.
Right now, yeah.
In Bitcoin Cash, and that's how much it charges you. Which, in my opinion, that doesn't help because we're still based in the U.S. dollar.
Yeah.
We're not.
Well, you're basing it on the dollar, not
Right.
Yeah. So there's a lot of if you get into actual trading and stuff, you start basing it. Most people base it on Bitcoin when you're trading, because you make your value. You create more value, but from trading crypto to crypto and finding those bottoms and those highs and selling and buying at the right time. So it's basically trading. But so at that point, your base is Bitcoin. But whenever you come out, or you have to compare to something, and people use the dollar, and that's how you assess value in the real world right now. So, yeah, that's eventually. And so, your question before, will one become the thing, or
one of these rise to the top?
I don't know if it's I don't know,
because it doesn't work like
that. That was the kind of initially people kind of talk about that as if one will, when you look at certain things Ethereum fills a role.
Yeah,
and it's not going to be
it's separate.
Yeah, I feel like it's separate. Bitcoin, honestly, what keeps Bitcoin at the very, very top is it's because it is at the top, and it's brand awareness.
It's everybody knows
and early
Bitcoin
as well.
Ripple is another one that it's not. So I would say after Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and then Bitcoin Cash, Ripple would probably be up there. I mean, it has the most volume traded. Aside from Bitcoin, it is the second highest volume traded of all of them.
And that one's trading at right now. It's trading at $1.
Yeah, it's super cheap.
$1 per coin, $1 per unit.
Whereas right now Bitcoin's almost 12.
Right.
12,000.
But so Ripple, the role
12,000
it fills.
Per unit.
Yeah, but you can buy
you buy 0.325 units.
Yeah, you can buy $1 worth of it.
Right.
But so Ripple is actually, it's a different sort of cryptocurrency. It's not limited supply like other cryptocurrencies are. It's also controlled by banks. What they have is instead of a distributed ledger system, where basically in the distributed ledger system, which is what Bitcoin is running on, you can go and become a node on that system, and you can keep a track of the ledger and validate purchases and all of this stuff. With Ripple's system, they elect specific people that are allowed to, which they elect banks.
Admins.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's not quite, it's a little bit different. It's still controlled by this centralized system, but it is using the same security level as cryptocurrency. And so MoneyGram, the MoneyGram, just the service that allows you to put money in
like
a
Western
system.
Union. Yeah, it's a wiring service.
Wiring service. MoneyGram has made an agreement with Ripple to use Ripple in their services. Yeah, and I really like that idea. It's not the traditional cryptocurrency usage, but it's I want to send you money and you're on the other side of the world. I'm going to put my money in MoneyGram. It's going to convert it to Ripple. It's going to send it to you, and then it'll convert it to your currency. And having that sort of instantaneous process is I don't think Ripple is going to become the world currency or whatever.
Right.
But it serves a purpose really well.
Yeah. Right.
And so I don't know. I really like that.
Well, I think that's the only way that it's going to grow. And when I say it, I mean cryptocurrencies.
Having some kind of a mix of a traditional and this new backbone.
Compatibility, receivability, stuff like that. So that's MoneyGram's big. It's in every Walmart.
Yeah,
it's a really huge way to send money internationally.
It'd be like a Bitcoin union or something.
And just the idea that people can understand it. It's
because you can understand that very orthodox system.
Yeah,
Western Union's been around since the 1800s.
But when I talk about
Bitcoin, if you just get a wallet and you do this, and then the blockchain, and then the algorithms and stuff like that, it's no one's. There's a lot of complexity there.
I mean, we might know more than most people about technology, but that's still confusing.
I mean, we're still laymen.
There's companies like Coinbase. Coinbase has done a lot to kind of make that easier to just get Bitcoin, and you just see the number go up and down, or last year you just saw it go all the way up to the end of the year, and it was yay.
Which Coinbase is in their third insider trading suit right now.
Coinbase.
So Coinbase is the company that has made it super easy for anyone to get in and buy Bitcoin or whatever with your credit card, and it makes it super easy, and I really like it, and that is how I got in.
Yeah.
What I tell everybody is buy it in Coinbase and then get it out of Coinbase as fast as possible. Because what they do, they're a Bitcoin bank. They hold your private keys, like what I said before. The private keys are what keep it secure. That's what allows you to make transactions with your money. But they keep control of that. You never actually get to see those. And so if
that
you
sounds
pull it,
very unsecure.
well,
I mean, it's similar to
it's similar to any other
13
website.
million
Yeah.
users.
or any
It's
other
pretty
bank.
shit.
I mean,
like,
yeah,
Right.
that's true. But other organizations like a bank, they're held to standards.
Yeah, look at that.
If you're a Bitcoin bank, air quotes,
Right.
then you're not held to any standards.
There's some it's not absolutely unregulated,
yeah,
but yeah, it's definitely not as.
And I'm not complaining.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
just-
that it's unregulated.
It's not as secure as you holding it in your own private
Yeah.
wallet, but it's probably about as secure as holding it on another exchange. The difference being that if Coinbase is hacked, which is possible,
$13.
Wow.
We're looking at Coinbase's charts.
yeah.
The 1 year.
Yeah, because that 2013 is probably whenever I was starting to fold the wallet. Yeah,
Oh,
I remember
yeah,
that. I
of
remember
course,
that.
Man.
There's a lot of interesting things, man. It's really cool. I mean, we're starting this podcast, and we both listen to different podcasts. And one thing that was really interesting on Joe Rogan's podcast was that he has a friend that goes and digs wells in the Congo, and they did like a crowdfunding thing for his fundraiser, but in Bitcoin, and they made like so much money.
Well, they did that, and then it was like
it, and, yeah.
well, it was like it started at like they raised like $70,000, and then the price,
Yeah.
and then
They raised like $70,000 in Bitcoin, and then they were like, let's sit on this and see what happens.
and then all of a sudden he has like $250,000, $300,000 to
so it
to
dug
put
a lot
in
of
these
wells
wells.
in the Congo. It was pretty dope.
Because even like right now, you see like it's up 800 over 800% from this time last year,
Yeah.
but it's way down from
Yeah.
where it was, at the end of
so
last
in the
year.
month,
So,
yeah.
I used to do like around like 2012, 2013, even a little into 14. I used to do like some day trading and stuff like that. So when I see charts, I see different patterns, and
Yeah.
cryptocurrency isn't different.
No, you have the
It's
same.
all- it's
You
all the
can.
same.
You have the same.
So you'll see it spike, and then you'll see it drop. But it's only
Does the
gonna drop a certain
cryptocurrency
place.
does it align with any markets like Nasdaq and the Dow at all? The ups and downs of it.
I'm not actually sure. I know it's it's still affected by world events and
At
things.
the beginning of
Yeah.
February, the stock market dropped like more
Yeah.
than it's dropped in
Right.
forever. I don't really know.
Around that time,
No, actually, so that was I guess that was right around.
we're
that
looking
time.
at this chart, and the 6th of February it dropped a pretty good chunk.
Where I was going with that was it wasn't affected in the same way.
Sure.
But I mean, I don't know.
There's a lot of people that are extremely skeptical of cryptocurrencies, and they're skeptical.
I'm
because-
skeptical.
Yeah,
I am.
I'm
I'm not
skeptical as
against
well.
it. Like I love the idea behind it because I've always kind of had libertarian leanings. I like the idea of privacy of transactions that aren't being tracked. I like all these, and I like separating ourselves from the fiat currencies of the government.
That's what I was about to say, though. Is the reason why people are skeptical is they say that there's nothing that backs these cryptocurrencies.
So the
And I
difference
say,
would be, imagine-
there's nothing that backs a dollar but faith.
Yeah.
Cryptocurrency is another fiat currency,
So let's say that
and it's
there's
just as susceptible to speculation and everything else.
yeah, it is.
so.
But once you so right now it trades like a commodity. It's not a currency really.
Right.
I mean, what was it when we were paying? We were going to buy something with. We're going to pay with some Bitcoin.
You're about some slaves.
No.
For the
no,
for IRL.
No, not through IRL.
You heard it here, folks.
So we were buying some server space, and we were going to pay with Bitcoin. Bitcoin Cash. Yeah, Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So when we bought it through Coinbase. We used a bank account. When you use a bank account through Coinbase, it takes a few days. And so when we did it was at the end of last year when Bitcoin had its initial drop. It dropped by a good bit. It happened to drop during those 3-day span.
Doing your transaction.
When we were actually going to use Bitcoin as a currency.
Oh, dang, yeah.
So we went from...
So you all got hosed.
We put $2,000 in, and then 3 days later, when we actually had access to
it
that
was
money,
only worth like $500.
well, it was worth $1,300, which
Yeah.
is similar. Yeah.
But it was just kind of interesting because... which, I mean, right now, it's not... No one really uses, Bitcoin proper as a currency.
And that is a pitfall. That's a pitfall.
It is
of
right now.
the
And
platform,
it's meant to
essentially.
be... And that's why a lot of people with, Bitcoin Cash, they were like, this is not... There's tons of people who make lots of great money with Bitcoin, and they're like, no, this is great because we can trade like this, and we love it. But there's other people who are just like, we just want it to be a currency. We want it to help everyone, because that's the thing. It was supposed to kind of bring everyone up, which is, this is yours. control it, be able to do more with it, and it's and that was the purpose, which is a great thing because I absolutely believe in that.
Do you see it ever maintaining like a stasis?
Bitcoin? I don't know. I don't know if Bitcoin's going to be,
because infinite growth isn't really sustainable.
No, it's
no. Infinite. It's basically. I think that it gets to I think that there is. It probably follows a curve up to when it gets to a stability place where there's inside of a realm of stability that is acceptable for.
Yeah. It's also
for anything, really. Yeah.
It's also like, what do you call infinite growth? Because if the US dollar continues to inflate, then technically Bitcoin is worth more US dollars, but it's still just one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin.
The actual value of it is
right.
Yeah.
So,
well, we're heading to strange waters, you guys. This is
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we'll probably call it that, man.
But also, if anyone's kind of interested in that, we have people at different levels.
Yeah. For sure. So when is the cryptocurrency meetup?
When's the next one?
The cryptocurrency meetup for March is March 26th.
We can probably have this out before then.
Okay. Yeah, March 26th, and that's going to be at IRL.
It's going to be IRL,
and that's on Cauldron 8th.
Right. You can go to
the old brew shop was.
IRL.work/events.
Okay. It's nice you got that .work. I saw that.
Right?
Yeah. .work. Yeah.
Grabbed it.
And that's where all of our events are. That's where the other meetup is as well.
And if you're looking for a space to work outside of your home, get away from your kids, so you can hit these guys up.
So you can actually have some real productivity.
Yeah, full disclosure, we bring all of our kids there. So.
I saw babies in the photos, and I was going to ask about it, but I think it was probably. I thought it was promotional. So
yeah, I mean, babies got to work too, right?
Yeah, right.
Babies got to work, man.
They got to learn their spellings. Well,
otherwise,
thanks, guys.
what did you buy them for? With your cryptocurrency.
Yes, exactly. Oh, jeez. Oh, I love it. Well, on that note, thank you guys. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, Joah. Thanks, Aaron. I really appreciate you guys, and we'll see y'all next time.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening to the episode. That was thank you to Aaron and Joah at IRL Coworking. Thanks to Texas Beard Co. as well.
Absolutely, it was a great conversation.
Yeah,
I
had a great time. I learned a lot about Bitcoin, and we had a pretty fun time in general. Those guys are, they're pretty.
Kind of often, sometimes what happens is after an episode is over, people will just hang around for a couple hours and we'll just keep talking like it's still going, and that definitely happened in this episode.
For sure.
Yeah, we just hung around and talked about all kinds of stuff after we stopped rolling.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks to those guys. Hey, if you like what you heard, remember, smash that like button, subscribe, and follow us anywhere and everywhere. Help us get our numbers up so we can get more people listening.
Tell your friends.
That's it.
All right, guys. Well, shout out to Emily. Shout out to
Jeff.
We got Jeff. Greg Jr. Give him a little shout out.
Oh, yeah. All right, Greg Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See y'all next time. Or actually, we'll see y'all in this next episode with Aroma.
Oh, wait. I also have something that's kind of, sorry for that false stop, but I have something else to add, too. We also did a Twitch stream episode
that's right.
from IRL Coworkies that you actually can go and look at on Twitch and just see us goof around.
We did a Magic the Gathering thing, and something died halfway through. But yeah, go check it out. It's something different.
Yeah, be easy on us because it was just us goofing around.
All right, well, we'll see y'all in the next episode.